I'm just like, okay, felt that, you know. But you can't get around it.
And David has his sights set high for the future.
I want to go to college for film and cinematography and become a director and become a producer. This is my future, so I take it very seriously, and hopefully I'll have an Oscar on my shelf.
Up next, we'll get up close and personal with the Camden sisters.
Oh, shut up. Oh, you shut up.
And later, Jessica Biel breaks the house rules. Welcome back to Inside Seventh Heaven. We've seen how the guys of Seventh Heaven have gone from boys to men, but the young ladies of this series are also turning heads. Beverly Mitchell plays the always emotional and often misunderstood middle sister, Lucy. Beverly made her TV debut in 1990 in the CBS movie Children of the Bride. By the time she got the part for Seventh Heaven, the then 15-year-old Mitchell had already been acting professionally for 6 years.
I think what spoke to me was it was just a functional family show. And it's so rare to find that on television, especially when we started. And it was just like a great character. She was so fun, and it was also something my family could be proud of me for doing.
Beverly's character has faced the trials of teenage romance and sibling rivalry. Lucy Camden also faced one tragedy that Mitchell herself endured in real life.
One of our storylines involved a death of a friend. And it was that year that one of my best friends died in a car accident. So it was really tough because it was something I was dealing with in real life, and it was something I, had to illustrate and show everyone so that they knew what my pain, they saw my pain.
She could have been killed too.
You think I don't know that? You think I don't know that if they hadn't been on their way to pick me up, Sarah would still be alive and she wouldn't have died?
Sarah died because she was driving the car and a kid ran out in front of her.
I know that! And that's my fault too! It's all my fault!
Stephen Collins directed this special episode.
So for me, what was satisfying about it was to create an atmosphere where Bev felt safe becoming as emotionally naked and vulnerable as she had to be to do it.
I just had to let everything go. I had to, let loose. And once I started, I think I cried that entire episode. And ever since, everything, it's better. It's easier to deal with.
Beverly is also dealing with the headiness that often comes with childhood fame. What keeps Mitchell rooted is the pact she made with her family.
I've got a promise with my mom. I made it when I was 4 years old, that we made a pact. If I ever thought I was better than anyone on the playground, it didn't matter how much money I was making, she'd yank me, because she said it's never worth to lose her kid to Hollywood.
Jessica Biel plays Lucy's big sister, Mary Camden. The WB knew right away Biel had something special.
The network always wanted her to be a sex symbol from the beginning. I remember after the first season, they did some posters that they put up at New York bus stops where she had on a little tight shirt, and all she needed was a piece of straw in her mouth to be, the farmer's daughter.
Jessica was born in Minnesota, but she was raised in Boulder, Colorado. She got the acting bug thanks to her mother.
I must have been like 7 or something, and my mom was taking voice lessons. And I came to her with a voice lesson. I think I couldn't get a babysitter. She couldn't get a babysitter for me, so I came with her. And I said, Mom, I want to sing too. So I started taking voice lessons. And then, I don't even remember, I think I just started auditioning for musicals. And I just loved it. And then I just said, I want to be on TV.
But Jessica had little professional experience before landing the role on Seventh Heaven.
I had done a few commercials, and I had done some modeling, and just a lot of musical theater that I took part in when I lived in Colorado and in Connecticut. So Seventh Heaven was pretty much my first thing ever.
Jessica Biel plays really the most interesting character on this show. She's been through the most. She plays Mary, who started out as being this goody-goody, almost too good kid, and turned bad and started misbehaving, got in lots of trouble.
Like drinking while babysitting and smoking pot?
That's about as edgy as we want to go with Mary Camden, because basically she has been brought up in a functional family and her father's a minister. I don't think she's going to be too bad.
What?
I don't know if you've noticed lately, but you have 6 brothers and sisters. You've gotten more than our fair share of attention and energy. We have to do what's best for everyone.
So what is best for everybody is to ship me off to Siberia to live with old people?
Yep, that's basically it. You'll live with your grandparents. You'll work at the community center for the homeless, with your first couple of paychecks going to Sam and David.
Okay, what are my other choices?
You don't have any other choices.
Like Seventh Heaven gave me the chance. You know, I'd never done anything before. I was really green, as you call it, and they gave me the chance to really, really become a really good actress.
Jessica's growth has allowed her to branch off into films. She made her feature debut in the 1997 movie Yuli's Gold, and she got cozy with Freddie Prinze Jr. in Summer Catch. But fame has never kept Jessie from always standing by her friends.
We are very close. And we've gone through everything together. I mean, Jessie was there when my friend died. Jessie was there when my parents got divorced. I mean, every big event that's happened in my life, she's pretty much been there for.
Like her TV character, Beale is passionate about sports. She can get down and dirty with soccer or wet and wild at the beach.
I surfed a little bit in California before. I just done a few lessons. And then when we were in Bali, we got a surf teacher, and he just gave us a few pointers and said, all right, get out there and try it.
Beale is riding this wave of success and looks forward to the future.
I'd love to do more films. I'd love to do different characters, just get to be everything. I'd love to be everybody, you know, every kind of different personality. I'd like to try that. Because that's what's, you know, the best thing about acting.
Jessica may have the guys swooning, but Mackenzie Rossman is a real show stealer as the smart-mouthed Ruthie.
Open the door. I can't.
Why?
I'm naked.
Well, you know, you can't rule out little Mackenzie, Ruthie, who is just a tough little cookie. She's obviously the future of the show.
Mackenzie made her television debut as a series regular on Seventh Heaven. Born in South Carolina, Mackenzie moved to Los Angeles with her family when she was 4. After doing some commercial work, she landed the role of Ruthie.
She has great timing, and you throw her the ball and she runs with it, so we love writing for that kid.
Mac started the show, you know, 6 years ago. She was this little thing that, like, we had people underneath her holding her feet down so she wouldn't move from her mark. Never whines, never cries, you know, she goes out there and she does it. She's so professional at such a young age.
Mackenzie's hard work is paying off. She gets the most fan mail of any other Seventh Heaven cast member. And there are some other perks.
I like going to premieres. I like doing interviews. I like it where you get free stuff.
Seventh Heaven may be a cool job, but little Mac would rather ride tall in the saddle.
My favorite part is just riding her. It's really fun. And going on trail rides. Yeah, it's really cool.
Coming up, one Seventh Heaven cast member tests the family values.
And the sweet little girl, Mary, on the show, goes out and does full frontal nudity.
Welcome back to Inside Seventh Heaven. Despite the show's success, critics charge that Seventh Heaven is not realistic and a little too preachy. Is being good really so bad?
You watch this show and you kind of come away with it with this warm, gooey feeling inside that you've just been privileged to visit a family that is actually happy. In fact, their dog is named Happy, and that they actually have a dad and a mom in the same house, which is very unusual, it seems, for TV these days.
We don't preach. We may teach a little bit, but we don't preach.
In a sense, they're right, but then you turn around and you look at them and you go, first of all, why are you criticizing something that's made to help people?
But by the show's 5th season, the Seventh Heaven producers were more concerned about their cast than their critics, particularly when the March 2000 edition of Gear magazine hit the newsstand. What her character could never do on the show, Jessica Biel did in real life. Editor-in-chief of Gear magazine, Bob Guccione Jr.
Jessica approached Gear through a photographer and asked if we'd be interested in putting her on the cover. And we said, sure, absolutely. Sounded like a great cover. Well, Jessica really set the whole shoot herself. Almost every single one of the poses was her idea. And a couple of times the photographer says, you know, this is really kind of racy. You sure you want to do this? And she said, yes. Well, when the magazine hit the stands, it was a complete sellout the same day.
Even more shocking than the 18-year-old star's sexy new look was what she said in the magazine.
She hated her character, Mary. She didn't want to play her anymore. She was tired of playing the goody-goody all the time. She hated the show. She wanted Aaron Spelling to kill Mary and fire her.
Aaron Spelling had his own take on what was behind Jessica's bold move.
They feel, am I getting anywhere? I can understand that. And you've got to sympathize and try to help them. You can't just say, okay, you want to do that and get angry. I don't think that works. I think if we're family, and I hope we are, we try to help each other.
Jessica did return to the fold.
Everybody deserves a second chance. And she did come back saying that she had made a mistake and apologizing. So, of course, they welcomed her back.
Also during that eventful 5th season, Beale started a serious romance with actor Adam Lavorgna.
Well, before I came on the show, I met Jesse Beale through a movie that we had done up in Vancouver. And I came down like one time just to visit. So I walked on there and was like, hey, Adam, how you doing? You know, everyone looked at me like, that's the boyfriend, you know? And it was kind of like weird at first, because, you know, I just was showing up saying hi.
Not only did cast members open their arms, but so did Aaron Spelling and Brenda Hampton. Jessica called Adam with the good news.
I went to college the next year, and she called me up and said, you know, they have a role for my boyfriend. She goes, would you be interested in doing it? And I said, you know, yeah, sure. So things, you know, worked out, and they got me on the show as a guest star.
Adam went from guest star to cast member as his character Robbie moved into the Camden household during the 5th season.
I've been waiting to talk to you alone. I know what you're planning for Joy.
You are so jealous you can't even see straight.
I am not jealous.
Look, I'm sorry Wilson broke up with you, but we're not gonna get back together. We're over. You need to understand that even if there wasn't a Joy, there still wouldn't be a you and me.
Adam and Jessica are no longer together on the show or in real life, but Adam's character is still a member of this very full house.
I think my character's pretty cool. You know, he started off as like, you know, someone who was, you know, way off the path, you know, girlfriends and pregnancies and all this, you know, other stuff. And he really like changed it around, you know, and he's turned into a Camden.
Up next, the future of Seventh Heaven. Welcome back to Inside Seventh Heaven. The Camdens deal with the same issues that real families take on every day. And like real-life moments, serious topics can sometimes have humor.
You know, you can ask your mother or me anything about anything. You know that.
Reproduction.
But what about reproduction?
Why can't cats mate with dogs?
Okay, here's the thing about cats and dogs. A cat is a cat, and a dog is a dog. And they don't usually like each other.
What's going on?
Well, Ruthie had a question about sex, but I think I covered it.
Thanks. Good talk, Dad.
What the? Hi. No, I think you're drunk. I know. I just found out.
Oh no, it's Dad. What do we do?
We've dealt with so many morals and issues and everything over the years. Anything from anorexia to bulimia to, you know, abuse, to spousal abuse, to teen pregnancy.
Just watch one, see if you like it. I think we have a lot of closet watchers. I think there are a lot of kids who go upstairs and lock the door and turn on Seventh Heaven because they don't know if it's cool or not to be watching it.
The show's kind of amazing because in a way, without really preaching, it gets across to America a lot of, you know, situations and problems that I think everyday people face.
The Camdens may be TV's most functional family, but they're not perfect.
One of my favorite things about the show is that Eric screws up. I love that he is, even though he's a preacher, he can be really petty. You know, he spies on his kids, and he can be really manipulative. And
I love that about him.
Simon and Ruthie bought illegal ferrets and we had to give them back. That stunk.
Well, you know, Matt can sometimes be kind of somewhat one-dimensional sometimes. He's the nicest guy on TV. He can't, you know, he does wrong because he's so good sometimes. You know what I mean?
Do you get fans letters that say, you know, what the heck is Mary doing? She's being crazy. Tell her to stop her crazy antics. I get kind of fan letters like that, or I think I've gotten letters that said, you know, I think Mary should be with Robbie, or I think Mary should be with Wilson, that kind of a thing.
The show reached a major milestone in January of 2001.
Hi, this is Beverly Mitchell, and I'm here on the set of 7th Heaven for our 100th episode. And oh, look at who it is, it's David Gallagher. And looking back at 5 years ago when you first started the show and we first met each other, like, I mean, can you take us back to that moment when you first got the show and like what you thought?
Sure. Oh God, all these people are so tall. That was my first thought when we walked into that room with the table and Barry was sitting there, and I think I walked in with you and Jess. Yes. And like Brenda was sitting there, and I was just like, "There's all these big people. I don't know what to do."
Okay, 5 years ago when we first walked into that room all together, and you left early, like yes. Can you think about that and think about where we are now? What do you have to say about that?
Well, you and Jesse were drooling over me, and thought you were gonna marry me, and now we're all grown up, and you know, you guys can't look at other guys like, you know, you like them better.
When Inside 7th Heaven returns, how will the Camdens handle their latest family crisis? Welcome back to Inside 7th Heaven. The show has proven that family programming can work, but that doesn't mean we'll be seeing more shows like 7th Heaven.
I think it's very difficult for the other networks to cater to a family audience because it's an audience they abandon to go after adults. And in abandoning them, they lost trust with that audience.
What network would ignore the one show on the schedule that is getting the best ratings of every other show on the schedule?
Despite its success, 7th Heaven still has a tough time getting promotion on the WB.
We don't fit the network. It's a teen network, and we're a family show.
It became very difficult to dance around the family issue. And ultimately, we found our way into the show through Barry Watson and through Jessica Biel, and engaging the teens on what is it like to grow up the minister's son and the minister's daughter.
Audiences keep coming back to see what's going to happen to the Camden family next.
Every year we try to let everybody grow up a little bit, all the kids grow up a little bit, and have storylines that are natural to that process.
One change for the Camden family is Barry Watson's departure from the show in May 2002.
It's just time to move on. You know, I've moved on a lot from a lot of different things growing up in life, not just, I mean, obviously I've been working for however many years, but I'm really excited. It's, you know, it's kind of like starting a whole new chapter in my life, and it's exciting for me. I like that. I like just kind of starting fresh again.
The 2002 season will also mark the end of Jessica Biel's run as a regular cast member.
She's already made it very clear that what she wants to do is to make movies. She's good looking, and there's going to be plenty of roles for her in the future.
For the Camdens, life will certainly go on, but for how long?
You know, it's one season at a time. We're still the highest rated show on the network by a long shot. So, you know, we know we'll be around next year, and we'll just see.
We've only had these people originally under contract for 4 or 5 years, and we're already in our 6th, and we have them for our 7th, so you don't know how long, how much glue it's going to take to keep it all together.
No matter who goes or stays, cast members will always consider one another family.
You know what's great is that, you know, when this is all over with, I'm probably still going to talk to these people. I'm still going to have a relationship with these people.
I'm close to these human beings. That's a blessing, that somehow fate brought these 7 people together.
And Stephen and Catherine, I don't even know what to say. They're definitely like parents. Like, Stephen helped me with my SATs. He gave me an SAT word every day on set. Catherine's always checking up on me, seeing how my schooling's going, making sure that I'm, you know, sticking with it. I mean, it's just so strange.
And literally, the crew, the cast, you know, everybody, we're all one big family, you know, and it's always been like that from day one.
There's just like thousands of memories, you know, thousands of great, great memories. And the people that I know I'm going to know for the rest of my life.
What I like the best about it was like the people I like the people because everybody's really nice and welcoming. I also like catering.
The odds may not have been in favor of Seventh Heaven succeeding, but in the end, the show has proven that family matters.
I don't think I've ever been more proud of a show than Seventh Heaven, only because it avoided all the cliches of the other shows, you know. I must say this one is very special, mostly because of Brenda.
I think people are comfortable being with that family for an hour every week. No one has a family that comfortable to be with for an hour every week. We all have our families. This is the ideal.
I would go back to Brenda Hampton's pitch for the show when she went in to pitch the show to Aaron Spelling. Her entire pitch was one question. She said, what if there were a functional family in America? And I think that's what we represent. It's a long way from Leave It to Beaver, which never dealt with most of the stuff that we deal with, and yet it's still in that mold of, hi honey, I'm home.
We're the kids from Seventh Heaven, and you're watching.
Okay, I know, but if we're the cast of Seventh
Heaven.
We're the cast.
Kids from Seventh Heaven. We're watching E. We're the cast from Seventh Heaven, and you're watching E. Thanks, guys.
Boy, you guys.
We're the kids from Seventh Heaven, and you're watching E.